We are live, Leanne.
Hello, Diana. Hello, friends. We are so grateful to be here with you. Welcome.
And we want to welcome you to our topic today. And I know that everyone relates to some form of procrastination, something that many of us struggle with. We want to remind you that this is Leslie's public Facebook page. So as you're commenting, we want you to know that this is a safe space. Reflect and share what you like, but be cognizant of the fact that anyone can see your comments. We do have a platform for you. If you have questions on this topic today, we'd like you, if you want to ask them anonymously, we'd like you to go to leslievernick.com/question, and your question will come directly to us. So please submit your question only once. So, Leanne, let's start talking about procrastination. I'm so interested to hear your perspective.
Well, thanks, Diana. And I'm so interested to hear your perspective and to coach right along with you here in this space. And so, before we totally jump in, type into the chat. Let us know that you're here with us. I see many of you are here on all of our platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So let us know where you are joining us from. And I will just say, can we just agree that we all wrestle with some form of procrastination? Would you agree? If you agree that we all, every human being on the planet, no matter what your age, you could be 8 or 80, struggle with some form of procrastination. And our topic today is procrastination, laziness, or something deeper. So if we're going to go there, let's just keep it real and own it. I know I have procrastination. I have procrastination. I have procrastinated. I
Oh,
can be a
do it
procrastinator.
regularly.
What's that?
There's always something I'm procrastinating. Let's be real,
Absolutely. And
right?
so,
There's something
friends,
putting off.
what's
Yeah,
that, Diana? Sorry, you broke up there for a minute.
there is always something that we're putting off. But my question is, what are the reasons? So, our question to you today is, what brought you here today? What did you hope to learn about procrastination?
I love that question. So, yeah, this topic resonated with you. Maybe, just
Mm.
maybe, you have something in your life that you are procrastinating about. Maybe it's
Oh,
a decision, maybe it's a task, maybe it's a something, something.
right.
All right. I see we've got Mesa, Arizona, Illinois. Hi, friends. The reasons. Tasha is here to find out the reasons for procrastination.
Making decisions.
Love it. Love it. Well, I would, Diana, you asked a minute ago about some thoughts that I have on procrastination, and I'm happy to share a little
Okay.
bit of that about what is procrastination and how does it show up for Leanne, and how do I know whether or not I am being lazy or if there's something else getting in my way. So, for the last 7 years, I have procrastinated writing my book. Okay. I would say it wasn't laziness. If I'm really honest, I'm going to say it wasn't laziness. It was fear disguised.
Mhm.
It was fear disguised as busyness. I could do a lot of other things. So it was busyness. And, I told myself I had to wait for the perfect quiet space, the right energy, the right attitude, and all the clarity that I needed. But what I was really waiting for was for the fear to go away. And I
What was
had some
the fear
fears, and
about?
they were creepy.
Yeah. What was the fear about, Leanne?
Oh, fear of not saying things right.
Mm.
Fear of using too many words because I've been guilty of that my whole life. Speaking overing all the time. Too many words to try and get my point across. I was afraid of being misunderstood. Like
Mm.
I wouldn't be able to communicate clearly in my book what I wanted to most say. And the other one, I was afraid of what other people would think, right? That maybe I was going to say things that could absolutely um, offend people.
Yes.
And so I got a little bit uneasy about that, Diana, to be honest. And, it held me back from actually, speaking out loud, even that I was writing a book. So there you go. That's it.
Leanne, you've just been so vulnerable right here. And we're getting to know you a little bit more. And I want to thank you for that vulnerability, because your vulnerability helps others to relate to you and know that they're not alone.
Well, thank you. And, I know that I'm not alone, yet sometimes I can feel alone. And I feel alone when I keep it in my own head and not express where
Yeah.
my fears are. So thank you for even asking. And so, every character quality, everything that's everything, in my opinion, has advantages and disadvantages. So
Mm.
there are some advantages to my fear and my procrastination, and then there's some major disadvantages. And so, what about for you, Diana? How does procrastination show up for you? Or how would you even define it? Wherever you want to go with this.
I think I could do both. Um, I think procrastination is it's really not laziness, although sometimes you feel like it is, it looks like it is. It's really for me about avoidance
Hmm.
and emotional avoidance. So it's me unnecessarily postponing actions or decisions. But the question is that we want to talk about today a little bit is, why do we do it? And so as you were talking about your story, I mean, I didn't think of this ahead of time, but I went to the doctor, dermatologist. I got this medication for something that's going on with my face and my ears. It has been 3 weeks. I have
Hmm.
not used the medication. I am procrastinating getting started.
Oh,
Like, I went to the doctor, I got the medication, I put it off. Same thing with my contact lenses. Got trials. I put them off. The question is, why do we put them off? Well, sometimes it's not a good time, and other times it's like, I'm a little bit concerned about the side effects of the medication, right? So
okay.
there's a little bit of fear behind it. It's a steroid. I don't do well on steroids. And I'm like, is it ever a good time? We're going live. Do I want to react to a steroid while I'm on a live? No, right? So there are many, many reasons. But yes, when we start talking about procrastination today, I am aware that it shows up in many places in my life, and there are areas where it doesn't. So the question is really to notice, why am I procrastinating? Or notice what I'm procrastinating, and then start asking some deeper questions. Would you agree?
I would, Diana. And I think that, just like you talked about the dermatologist and using all the things, you
Yeah.
made the time to do all these things, right? And so I know for me, procrastination guards me against risk. It's risky.
Yes.
To take forward action is very risky. And
Mhm.
the other thing is it holds me back from my purpose. So just like your purpose going to the dermatologist was to get some answers for your skin and get some things taken care of. And so how long are you willing to let your skin pay the price of your procrastination? Okay, so and then I ask myself the same thing. Leanne, how long are you willing to let procrastination stop you from the call on your soul?
Mm.
And how long
Oh,
are you
that's
willing to disobey God's call on your life? And so these are real, we're keeping it real here with y'all, with very in the moment.
so. What was the question you asked me again? How long am I willing to delay?
Yeah, taking care of your skin.
There we go. And how long are you willing to delay God's calling on your life? Those are two great questions for those of you that are listening. How long am I willing to delay God's calling, taking care of myself, right?
Mm. And
Because there is a cost.
well, yeah, and I don't think it's being lazy. I
No.
think we're afraid. You
Yes.
you expressed, right, that you don't know what the outcome is gonna be. You don't
Well,
know what's on the other side of the cream.
I've taken steroids before and I don't respond well. They were oral, and this is not oral, but still, it's like they said they stopped me at the pharmacy and she said, this is a steroid, and I'm like, oh no. So we work every day. We're public. I don't want to be having a reaction to a steroid while I'm publicly live. No.
I
Yeah.
get it. I get it, and like Michelle said, we're not very good at self-care sometimes, and
No.
we're not. But
Right.
this is where sometimes I think, for me, I'm gonna speak from my own experience, but procrastination can be a trust issue for me. It's trusting myself, it's trusting God, and it's learning to trust other people. Ooh,
So
that's a big one.
don't you think? So when we talk about trust, I'm glad that you brought that up. The opposite of trust is fear.
Mhm.
So we can have some fear driven avoidance and an absence of trust, right? Trusting in the right things, trusting in the fact that you are enabled, that you're called, that you're gifted. And we can allow that fear, I think, to take the driver's seat, right? Because we're afraid falling, being judged, as you said, not saying the right words. Yeah.
Right. No, I love that, Diana. And, I'd like to ask all of our audience that's here with us today, what is something you've been putting off? So Diana talked about dermatology, steroids, all the things. I talked about writing, which I'm just going to publicly, I am writing. It is happening. I have overcome some fears. It's scary as all get out, but I'm doing it. And I'm breaking through some of the blocks. And so what is something, friends, let's make this drive this home, because we're here to bust maybe the myth that it's laziness. There might be a little bit more to it. So, what is something that you are wanting to do that you have been putting off? Maybe
Yeah.
it's cluttering, maybe it's a garage sale, maybe it's um, learning a new skill or an instrument or a hobby or a something.
Yeah. And if the wheels are turning, grab yourself a pen and a paper and just do a brain dump on what you're putting off doing. Because so many thoughts are coming up for me as we're just talking about the topic of ways in which we just put things aside. Yeah.
We do. And we would love to see your comments in the chat. We so appreciate when you engage with us on all of our platforms. And maybe you shame yourself.
Mm,
Maybe you shame yourself. You shame yourself with words like, I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined enough, I'll never get it all together.
right.
Okay, overcoming the hesitation to be a life coach to teach what I have been through, says Kelly.
Yeah.
Tamara's saying there are so many things. I had a teacher say I was lazy.
Mm,
I just didn't understand. I'm sorry that
right.
people put labels on you.
I feel like for me, and sometimes for you ladies, it might not be a thought, but it might be a feeling. And so for me, what I notice first is that I might feel anxious.
Mm,
I might feel overwhelmed because I'm uncertain about something. And so I don't step into it when I'm uncertain.
mm,
Yeah. I'm looking
uncertainty.
into making some changes with my business, and I don't know how to do it. So if I don't take the next step, I will just stay in I don't know what's next, or I don't know how to do this, right?
Oh, Diana, thank you for your vulnerability. So here's the deal. There are some deep roots in procrastination. And one of those, you just highlighted it a little bit. And we talked about this last week in our Moving Beyond Insecurity Challenge week, right? We talked about perfectionism. And I don't know, just if ladies, if you are hearing us, whether on the replay or live right now, if perfectionism has ever shown up for you, about not knowing how to do it, or I won't even start unless I can do it perfectly, unless I can do it right. If that has ever come up for you, you're not alone. It's
Yeah.
come up for us
You
too.
know, I noticed John is saying after my husband passed, I totally shut down, and she's feeling frozen. And I want to say that that is another reason why we may fall into what we might consider procrastination is we have a dysregulated nervous system and we're really moving through something tough. It might be chronic stress, it might be grief, it might be burnout, and your body needs care. So
Mm,
literally when we're in a shutdown state, our brain's not on board, our body's saying something different, and so that requires a different sort of care.
it does, Diana. Thank you. And Marianne is saying self care. I am short staffed at work, so the overwhelm of taking time for my self care is keeping me from taking the time. But taking the time is so important for rejuvenation. I love that you're saying that. If this is resonating with you, which it sounds like it is for many of you, we have a unique summer opportunity coming up. If you look right below us on the screen, if you can see it, there is a link to our flexible summer coaching program. that is actually coming up here in just a couple of weeks. We're going to start. Hey, and happy July. Everybody, happy July 1. I know. So 2 weeks from today, we begin our Moving Beyond People Pleasing Flexible Coaching experience. And we would love to invite you to a seat at the table as we learn more about moving beyond people pleasing, because oftentimes one of the roots of unhealthy people pleasing is perfectionism, and the fear that drives it. We seek to people please because we're afraid of disappointing someone. There are many fears that can bubble up then. And yeah, I'm just going to pause there for a minute and share with you, even when I think about writing my book, and maybe you can relate with this, with your steroid for your skin, all the things. And ladies, I see you in the chat.
Mhm.
If I do this, what will happen? What if it doesn't work? And what if it does work? What if it doesn't go well? And another reason, or another thought is, what if it does go well? I'm afraid of both because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be able to navigate that.
Well, also, even if it doesn't go well, which a lot of life doesn't, the question is, what do we draw from that? What do we learn from that? So, fear of failure turned inside out is an opportunity for growth. It's just how you perceive it and how will you choose to move through it. There's an old, yeah, there's an old book that one of my clients I worked with many, many years ago gave me a copy and said, you need to read this. And it's for those of you who are in certain decades of your life, you'll remember John Maxwell. And it's called Failing Forward. And I love that term. So, what could be different if I embraced my fear of failure and what other people think of me and just did it anyway?
Mm. And just do it anyway. Diana, you said the fear of failure turned inside out. Could you talk a little bit more about what that could look like? How would we know that our fear of failure is being turned inside out?
You mean that we're stepping out of the fear of failure into something good? Is that
Yeah.
what you're asking?
Well, I think that I just loved, I don't know, I'm deeply thinking about what you said. I actually grabbed my pen and I made a note. And when you said fear of failure turned inside out.
Recognizing that failure is our learning tool. When we make mistakes, when we cease to succeed. I mean, I think one of the premises of the book is that the average startup entrepreneur has 3 failures before he finds a successful venture. And most people who are failing entrepreneurs don't get past that first 3. So let's talk about book edits. I did a research project, and oh my goodness, to get published, you're editing and revising and editing, and it's really easy to get tired of that process and to give up. If you do, you will not have the growth, you will not have the learned experience, and you will not have a finished product. So often, what happens with fear of failure is we give up just before we're reaching success at whatever it is we're trying to achieve.
I love that. And that's so biblical. So when we think about Joshua marching around the walls of Jericho, this is coming up for me, right? The Israelites did not know what lap they were on. They
No.
just obeyed until it was time to make all the noise. And so, girls, friends, here in this space, you might be on lap 1, you might be on lap 7. And so, not giving up before, because it might be right around the corner. So, your perfectionism, your procrastination could be preventing you from something that is literally right around the corner. I know for me, even writing my book, I needed to read a chapter. Well, first I needed to put it in print on black and white paper that I could hold and get it off of my computer.
Mhm.
I had to embody it and I had to hold it for me to stop procrastinating.
Yeah.
And then I had to give it voice. I had to read it. I had to, somebody volunteered to read it to me. That was powerful. And so it's taking that next step to shake off some of that fear that can,
Yeah. And so I want to ask you a question because I think about when I think about business startups and people who do well, even executives, one factor of their personality is they don't fear risk.
yes.
So, what risks are you taking to get your product out, to get your message out, Leanne?
Mm. Well, I've taken really big steps actually in the last couple of weeks. For one, I said publicly that I'm doing this, and I
Mm-hmm.
did it again today, which is kind of freaking me out a little bit, but that's part of my accountability. Okay, so this is helping me take one small step, do the next right thing, so procrastination doesn't hold me back, right? And so it's, it's confessing with my mouth what God has called me to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
letting other people into my life. I'm getting coaching around not getting stuck in my head and what might be possible. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it's surrounding myself with other people who will encourage me to step out with what God has put in my soul, because in and of myself, I could stay very quiet about this out of fear. And so, we're getting ready to do this moving beyond people pleasing
Right.
flexible summer coaching program. And so we often say here, we really try to walk our talk here as coaches. And I'm not going to ask any of our women who join us in our coaching program to do something that I'm not willing to do myself.
That is true about you.
And oh,
Well, I love what you said about surrounding yourself with others who will help you in this journey. And I do think that is a principle that we embrace here at Leslie Vernon and Company. And yeah, we want to see everyone else live that out along with us. You don't, I love what you said. You don't have to go it alone. You wouldn't do it. You couldn't do it alone, but you embraced others on your journey. And so a part of that risk also, if we want to talk about people pleasing and overcoming what we feel, is concern about what they will think of me, concern about what they will say. Will they be there for me? And also concern, what if I fail? What are others going to say about me? How will that affect me, right? Personally, professionally? We could go on and on. But one thing I know, which is true about you, is that you embrace confidence. And I'm assuming that it's not confidence in you, that it's confidence in what the Lord has called you to do.
thanks, Diana. It really is. I've been really struck as I've even preparing, we've been doing all this coaching so far this summer. And I really saw areas in my life where I wasn't trusting God
Mm,
fully. And, I had to really look at that. I had to look the fear in the face, and I had to look at what I was trusting in. And so, when I think about when you said, what did you say courage or confidence? You said confidence.
confidence, I mean,
Confidence. Yeah. So my confidence is not in me. And I
yeah,
think that kept me in procrastination mode too, thinking I had to do it all and get it perfect. And, as I've shifted, as I've done my work, as I've had coaches help me, as I have had accountability people spur me on, I realize that if the Lord calls you to it, He is going to walk me through it. And He has called me to this, and He will be with me. I have the opportunity, however, to trust Him or not trust Him. That is
absolutely.
what I am in control of. I'm not in control of what other people think. I'm not in control of whether other people are going to, appreciate this, but I am in control of where I put my feet, who I share this with,
Absolutely.
all of that, right? And
So, one of the things I want to say about what you're demonstrating here is self agency.
ooh,
And
love that word.
people
Yeah.
pleasing really robs us of self agency because we give it to others. We want them to validate our direction, maybe our purpose. We want them to also approve of the steps we're taking. But Leanne, you're listening to the voice of the Lord and trusting how He's guiding you. That is leading to confidence. So it's an internal frame of reference. And we want to help you. We want to help you kind of dig into that as well over our 6 weeks, because that's not a small task to hear your voice, trust your own voice, listening to the Lord, and stepping into your own agency. But people pleasing will rob you of that for sure.
Well, it will, and it did me for years. And Diana, I think that, as I'm looking at, again, at your fear of failure turned inside out, that's what this is all about. That's what the 6
Mhm.
weeks is all about, is we are going to kick unhealthy people pleasing to the curb. Right? There is some beautiful. I love to serve. I love to give. I love to over things, right? But what gets me stuck is when I do it in unhealthy ways. And so
Right.
we are going to have 6 weeks back to back of coaching opportunities with our entire coaching team in this program. We are going, there's an ebook that Leslie has written that I'm telling you what, I have been reviewing that, getting ready for 2 weeks from now when we begin on July the 14th. Friends, this material that Leslie has created is golden. She has created 13 videos. She has created handouts in this coaching program. And then she has invited Susan, Diana, and myself to coach you through all of this material. We are going to be meeting, Lord willing, for 9 different times every single week
That's a lot.
for 6 weeks. And we meet 90 minutes live on Zoom. It's not here on Facebook. What we're doing here is we're connecting with you, we're loving on you, we're sharing a little bit of ourselves. We can't personally coach you right here on Facebook. But what we do for 6 weeks is we do real coaching around real issues for real women just like you who are navigating people pleasing, procrastination, self doubt, all the things, maybe the inner critic that bubbles up for you. Because I'll tell you what, when we're talking about procrastination today, asking if it's laziness or something else, I'm telling you what, procrastination awakens our inner critic. But God's voice sounds really different. It says, I love God's word, Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And Diane, I don't know about you, but when I'm experiencing God's rest, it's a lot easier for me to trust Him.
Well, yeah. And you know what? I really love that God's thoughts aren't our thoughts and his ways aren't our ways, because to be mighty in the kingdom of God, we're to be weak. We're to be humble. We're to lean into even our brokenness and let him be that strength, that perfection, and that healing force within us. So one of the other scriptures that you had given us for today is his power is made perfect in my weakness. So if you're feeling weak, join the crowd. You're in a great place to be humble and to rely on the power of the Holy Spirit and see what he can do within you. But you don't have to do it alone. You can do it in the context of a safe community of women who I love. And when we get to work with you all, we get to be friends. We get to know one another, encourage and support one another, and share aspects of our stories as they relate to the work that we're doing together. And so I can't tell you enough how cohesive of a community our groups form. We want you to be a part of that.
Well, we do. I love that, Diana. And, maybe right now you're thinking, I would love to join this people pleasing flexible group summer program.
Right.
Let's get very real here, okay? And maybe you're procrastinating about whether or not you should sign up. We have a seat for you at the table. We would love to see you there. And there are other people that are going to be in this group coaching experience that need you there too. So I'm curious if we were to get very practical here in a minute and walk you through a coaching tool. Would y'all like a coaching tool right now about procrastination and how we can know whether or not it's laziness or something deeper? Just type a yes into the chat or a Y into the chat. We're here to serve you well. We are also here. We fully believe in this coaching program. 100%. It's powerful. If you would like a little bit of a coaching tool, type it in the chat. Okay, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it, Rebecca.
Good.
Okay, Tanya. All right. So, okay, everybody, then I want you to grab a pen and I want you to grab something to write on. Okay. Paper and something to write on. Okay, Andrea, I see you. Hey, Keisha. All right, here, this is for you. This is for you. I want you to ask yourself right now, if let's do this coaching program. You're here about procrastination. And if it's not signing up for the coaching program, maybe you pick another one. All right. But what are you feeling right now as you're avoiding a task? This is where we pause.
Yeah, put it in the chat as well.
Yep. Type it into the chat. Put it on your paper. What are you feeling? Diana talked a bit ago about emotions and how they can stop us.
What am I avoiding? And what am I feeling in relation to that as I avoid it?
Yep. We want to know. So take a pause. Okay, I see you. I am feeling pain. I am feeling uncertainty. What else? We see you. Okay, so what are we feeling? It's important. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe
Right.
you're feeling fear like me, a little bit of resentment. Maybe there's some grief or some fatigue. It's okay. There's no right or wrong answer. This is
Absolutely.
a no judgment zone. We get to be real.
And
Overwhelmed.
the first step to change is awareness. So noticing, what am I avoiding and how is that showing up for me? What am I actually feeling in connection to that? Fear. Yeah.
Okay, I see you. I'm avoiding a garage clean out. It's hot and I'm overwhelmed. I am fearing being judged. I'm not good enough. I'm feeling judged. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling questioning financial. Can I afford it? I am feeling hopeless. I'm feeling like a failure. Sweethearts, we see you. Okay, so that's the first P. These are my three P process, okay? This is 3 Ps. And if you're around long enough, you know I love words to the core. I think words create our worlds. And so we're pausing and we're noticing right here. Okay. All right. Jerry says, I have a garage clean out too. Okay, Tamara. So this is, we're not alone in this. There are so many commonalities as we come together as women. All right. So the second P is pivot. Okay. So now we're going to pivot. What do you need in this moment? Do you need a break? Do you need a breath? Do you need some support? Do you need clarity? Do you need truth? Do you need a community of people? Do you need coaching? Take a minute. What do you need to pivot so you are not driven or overrun by your emotions?
Yeah. So, yeah. Can you define need in this moment? What might that look like? What do I need emotionally? What do I need physically? What do I need spiritually? And here's a big one for us: cognitively. What do I need to tell myself about this?
Diana, that's so good.
That's the truth piece.
There's the truth piece. And so what do you need most so that you don't stay overwhelmed? Okay, Sherry says I need confidence. She said boldly doubling or body doubling is very helpful. No one is available. I need a plan, says Andrea. Oh, love that. So this is, we get to just take it step by step. Sometimes we just need to take a breath and pause. And we work on this every week for 6 weeks.
So
90 minutes, right? We walk through. All right, I need to push past my fear of rejection.
Hey, I have got a question.
Yeah.
What if we just need to decide?
Ooh, talk more about that.
Well, what if I just need to decide to do it? This is to decide when, to decide how, and to decide with intention that I'm going to choose to step into it.
Wow. And Diana, I love that. And so what gets in the way of us? Because we often say here in our ministry and in our coaching programs that indecision is a decision. Indecision is a decision. So what kinds of things keep us in indecision? And we talk about fear. What else prevents us from making decisions?
Well, I've got one. I'll just name it. It's time. I have so much on my plate that sometimes I procrastinate things that are really important to me because other things take their place. So I would say time and priorities, knowing what my priorities are and choosing to not put things off that are important just because other things are timely. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes perfect sense, and I'm just seeing in the chat, if you I see that some of you are having trouble with the link for people pleasing. If you Nancy, can you please put that in the chat for us again? It's leslievernick.com/, people pleasing course. And so we don't want there to be a snag. We do not. And I just want to commend you for asking for that, friend, because here's the deal. You're not procrastinating on asking for what you need so that you can pivot. So
Absolutely.
thank you for that. Okay. So, Charlene, if you have any trouble at all getting into that link, Nancy's going to post it into the chat here in just a minute. I'm sorry, I cannot post comments in the chat. So, we are relying on our support staff to do that. Again, it's leslievernick.com/ people pleasing course.
Mm.
Okay. And so, and if you have any trouble, just email assistant@leslievernick.com and they will help you. They will help you. We can pivot. We can ask for what we need. You're not lazy, girls.
No.
You're human, and
Mhm.
God meets you in your humanness. That's something that I am pivoting around. God is meeting me as I lean into the cry of my soul. But nobody else can lean into the cry of my soul for me. No one else can do that for me. And no one else can move you beyond people pleasing except for you and the Lord and a community of people that
Yeah.
He has given you in order to do that. That might be your micro step. Because the third P in this little coaching tool of pausing, pivoting, the third P is have a plan. Have a plan. Create a micro step, just one. For
Mm.
me, my micro step was I had to print out what I've been working on for 7 years. I had to print out a rough draft.
I
That
think my first micro step might be to you ladies, do a brain dump of everything that you're procrastinating. So that might be your micro step, just to notice what I'm putting off, right?
Mhm.
And then decide and choose what's most important.
Right. I love that, Diana. And, maybe some of you, like me, sometimes when I get knee deep in writing or creating or just taking care of myself or taking care of others or whatever, right? My kitchen can turn into a disaster. My craft room or my office can turn into a disaster.
Mm.
And so for me, when I am feeling overwhelmed by my environment, my micro step is setting a timer for 5 minutes and tidying up one horizontal area in my world. That could be a micro step. Diana gave a micro step, a brain dump. Brilliant. Set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes and just write everything. Don't worry about punctuation. Don't worry about how you say it, spelling, or anything. Just get it out of your head.
Right. Get it out of your head and your body and put it down on paper so that you can look at it with some distance and some objectivity. Otherwise, what's in you and kind of you're holding on to can become very overwhelming. And if the brain dump becomes overwhelming, make it fun. What if you made it fun, Leanne? So, you and I have lots of tools. What if you just got creative with colored pencils or post-its and just did it on the wall, and you can move things around, but just to see what's on your plate and to tell yourself one step, one move at a time.
I love that, Diana. When I was, this was a whole year ago, actually, I had a sister, a friend joining me in my home, and we're both working on books. And we hung giant sheets of sticky paper on the walls and we set timers. Talk about fun. And we did just what you shared. We
Hmm.
grabbed different markers, colored pencils, post-it notes, and we just said for 30 minutes, we're going to focus on this part. And
Yeah.
then we set a timer and then we giggled and we laughed and we shared it with each other.
It became fun instead of a task.
Right. And
I
so
love that.
this is what happens. So under stress, procrastination can look like laziness. And
Yeah.
you can be so hard on yourself because you haven't done that which you said you wanted to do.
Right.
And we get that. And sometimes under stress, the cortisol and the adrenaline in our bodies clog our cells to the point of they can't breathe. When we invite in creativity, when we invite in creativity, it helps to lower the cortisol. It helps to get us back online.
Oh, we need creativity.
Boy, don't we
We
ever.
really do. We could probably come up with a bunch of strategies for that, and we will. As we're moving through our people pleasing course, it's experiential, ladies. We're not just going to tell you what to do. We're going to show you. We're going to coach you, and we're going to have fun.
We are, and we're going to do it together. And, if this is resonating with you and you want a safe community of Christian women who desire to put Christ back at the center of their lives when overwhelming emotions, like we could name 100 of them, you can type them into the chat, have stopped you from honoring God, from leaning into his call on your life. You have been created for such a time as this, and perhaps people pleasing has been holding you back from living the life that God created you to live. How long are you willing to do that? I know for me, somebody spoke into my life yesterday. I was with a friend, Diana, yesterday for lunch, and I was sharing with her about my journey, about my procrastination, about my perfectionism, about my angst, about doing
Oh,
this.
interesting. You were processing.
Oh, yeah, it was so powerful. And she said something really powerful to me about my 7 years that
Yeah.
made me think, because this book idea was birthed 7 years ago. And she said, Leanne, 7 years, that's the year of completion. No wonder you're getting it done this year. And so please, friends, do not bully on yourself for putting off some things. Procrastination might not be as as dark of a cloud as you think it is. Sometimes there are gifts. What if it's your soul cry for grace and not punishment? What about that? What if God is whispering to you in this place?
There may be good reasons why we're putting something aside for now,
Yes,
is what I hear you saying. We may be in process.
exactly. And allowing ourselves, Diana, I love that word P. There's another P word for us today. It's a process. What would be different if we trusted the process and we
Well,
invited the Lord and others in to help us do it?
I like the earlier question that you asked, and I want to come back to it. And maybe you can help me say it the way you said it. But you said, what is preventing me from stepping into what God has called me to do? Where am I procrastinating where God has called me to step into? And I want to ask also along with that, because that really, I want to kind of meditate on that maybe throughout the week. Where am I holding off something or procrastinating something and it's costing me something that God has called me to?
Mm.
Because we do want to finish well, long-term goal, right? Yeah. And so I think sometimes we're not making those connections. And I think that's what I love about doing the work. It helps us to make the connection and bring what's hidden out into the open so we can address it.
Indeed, Diana, that's so good. Bringing what's hidden out into the open, shine the light, raise the awareness. Many of you here, this is not your first live with us, and we're so glad that you're here. For those of you who are here for the very first time, we welcome you. And we truly believe this is something that was shared with me many years ago that I hold very dear. And I share it a lot, and this is the truth. What is unmentionable is unmanageable. And so when we bring things out into the open, when we don't hide anymore, procrastination can cause us to hide.
Mm.
And the Lord did not give you the gifts that he has given you for you to put them and hide them under a bushel.
No.
That song, I love that you just said no, but that song, like hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine, this little light. And so there are some things in your life that the Lord is wanting you to lean into. And maybe your very first step is moving beyond unhealthy people pleasing, worrying about what other people think.
So, is this a good time to talk about our special incentive?
Ooh, oh my goodness. Yes, we are like, yeah, we should have probably done that. There, I just shut it on myself. Don't shut on yourself. Yes, Diana, will you please? We just had a meeting with Leslie yesterday, friend.
We have a bonus for you ladies. For anyone who signs up for our 6-week experiential coaching program, by July 6th, you will get entered to win a private coaching session with Leslie. There will be 3 winners total, and we will pick the winner from the buyers on the afternoon of Monday, July 7th. So
Oh,
we want to reward you for taking action. Now, mind you, this is gold. Leslie rarely does coaching any longer. That's why we're here. And so to have an opportunity to coach her around something that is really meaningful for you and to consult with her and get some expertise in that coaching format, for me, is gold. I'd put my name in if I could, but we're doing the program.
I know, right? And so, yeah. So for those of you who did not hear that, maybe you're just jumping on, you're listening to the recording, you did hear Diana correctly. Leslie is offering 3 coaching sessions for, or let me just rephrase this. When you sign up for our summer program, which begins in 2 weeks from today, when you raise your hand and say, yes, I'm going to take action. I'm not going to procrastinate. I'm going to step into a flexible summer coaching program for everyone. Even all of you who have signed up already, your name is going to go into a big bowl. And we are going to pick 3 names, and 3 of you who have taken inspired action and signed up to coach with us this summer will get a private coaching session with Leslie.
Which is wonderful. And so the giveaway ends July 6th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the fence and you're procrastinating, get your name in the bowl now.
Do it.
Yeah, that's really, really generous.
It is super generous. Hey, Victoria, we see you. Joanne, we see your interest. So you're interested. What questions might you have around our people-pleasing program or procrastination that you would like to ask? We welcome your questions. We invite you to put them into the chat or put them, you can send them to leslievernick.com/question/ and Nancy will get them to Coach Diana and myself, and we're going to answer them for you. So I am pulling up
The question tracker?
I am, and it just disappeared. So hold fast, friends.
As yet, we don't have any questions.
Okay.
So if you have a question regarding our people-pleasing experience, coaching experience, or questions on procrastination, please feel free to ask them now. We have just a few minutes left with you.
We do. I see one question, Diana. I'll go ahead and read it, and then we can chime in. I live with my husband and adult daughter who are very abusive daily. How do I find the strength to overcome this?
So what do you hear is being procrastinated here, Liam?
Oh, I hear you're dealing with something very challenging right now. They're abusive. So you're procrastinating. You said, how do I find the strength? And how do I overcome? There's a lot here. So for you who answered this question, I want you to go back to the 3P exercise. Okay, let's get really practical. I'm going to give you a little taste of what coaching is. Okay, so this is going to be dependent on you engaging in the chat. So what are you feeling now, even as you wrote that? You said, I live with abusive people. How do I find the strength? So perhaps you're feeling weak. Perhaps you're feeling insecure. Can you identify the emotion that you are experiencing?
Why don't you, I think because she put it in the question tracker, she doesn't want to respond in the chat. So she's anonymous. Why don't you coach me through this?
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I want to scream. I just want to hold space. I see. I'm excited. We
got some answers.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. I think she's talking. This is Rebecca talking about she's excited about joining.
I love it. Okay,
Uh,
cool. Well, I'm excited that you're excited about joining. We can't wait to work with you. We have a lovely coaching family here. We do. We truly do. Okay, so Diana, let's do a little role play then.
I'm here.
Okay, so you're living with your husband, adult daughter. They're abusive. How do you find the strength? Okay, so Diana, I'm curious if you could please share with me what are you experiencing emotionally right now?
Stuck, heavy, sad, powerlessness.
Those are huge. I hear you and I see you. Of those, which one holds the most weight for you right now?
I feel powerless to change it.
Powerless. Okay. And so, Diana, for you, what do you need most in this moment?
And really, what comes up for me is I need strategy and support, but I, yeah, because I can't do it without help.
Okay. So you're needed, yep, you're needing strategy, you're needing support, you understand, and you're kind of feeling a little bit lonely too in this
Absolutely.
space.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is a truth that's going to be very important for you to stand on?
I can find a solution.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
I can find a solution.
So if I can believe that I can find a solution, I will have hope. Because right now I'm just kind of sunk. I'm not even trying.
Okay. So
So
what I'm
in a way, I'm procrastinating, figuring a way out. I'm procrastinating my care. I'm just stuck in it.
I hear you.
Mm.
And so, Diana, thank you for your vulnerability. And so, stuck isn't a place that you need to stay. You're a human being having an experience in an abusive situation, in a destructive
Yeah.
relationship. It's understandable that it would be hard. And so, what is one truth that you know about the Lord that you want to hold on to right now?
Hmm. He has a plan for me. He has a purpose for me.
Okay.
And abuse is not it.
Okay. So, Diane, I noticed when you answered first, you asked a question. He has a plan for me, like you weren't certain.
Oh, you picked up on that.
So, Diana, what about that is meaningful? What was that? Oh,
Well, I want to believe that, but I'm not really believing it. I just said it.
you gave the good church girl answer.
I did. I know he has a plan for me, but I don't feel it or believe it right now. I mean, I know that intellectually, but being in this situation is so confusing. I can't think straight. And so there's the question. Does he have a plan for me? Certainly, this can't be it.
I, Diana, you just walked through a beautiful cycle for yourself. If
Yeah.
you were to anchor in right now, what is most important for you to hold on to, what would that be?
Hope.
Hope. Okay. So knowing that God meets you in hope and getting it from here to here, what might be one, what might be one micro step that will help you go from here to here? I believe you have it within you, Diana. What might
I,
it be?
I can't think. Can you help coach me? I mean, sometimes this happens, right?
Well, it does. It's real.
Yeah. I don't know what a micro. I don't know what my next step would be, Coach Leanne. I
Okay.
need some help.
Okay. So now, if you were sitting in our coaching group and a
Yeah.
woman asked you that question, what would be the question that you would most want to ask her right now?
What was the question again?
What's your micro step to help you meet God in the hope?
I think it would be to connect with people who get it.
Mm.
That would be my micro step. And I think maybe some ladies in this group get it. And so maybe locking arms with them can be support for me, and seeing some of their journey, I can have some of that hope.
Diana, there's like a huge centeredness even in your voice as you said that.
Yeah.
That was really powerful.
I'm really in this role play. I'm getting emotional here.
Well, I am too. This is real, ladies. We this 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 is real, and this is where you can put the 3 Ps into practice. Did you see how Diana walked through the pause, the pivot, and the plan? This is
There's
a coaching tool, and we're going to be giving in our moving beyond people pleasing. It's real coaching, ladies. This is not just here's a 5 pages of notes. Try and put it into practice on your own. This is what we do in our live 90-minute sessions on Zoom. Is we lean in and we ask the Lord and we coach you into what is God whispering to your very soul right now.
and you're not alone. I think there's nothing worse, and as this person has so graciously given us this opportunity to role play, a husband and a daughter can just break your heart. And so being alone in that is not what God wants for you. And maybe the first step is, I'm just going to finish this out here.
Oh yes,
Maybe the first step is I don't need a strategy. Maybe I just need someone to be there with me.
wow.
Yeah.
I need someone to be there with me. And if that's part of your plan, if this is resonating with you, we're going to be wrapping up here in about 4 minutes. Maybe now is the time that God is whispering to your soul that you want someone to be with you and walk with you and help you move beyond the beliefs that have held you in people pleasing and procrastination. Maybe the Lord is whispering to your soul that it is time to let go of the assumptions that you have made about yourself, about your situation, your circumstances that has kept you feeling small and afraid. Maybe it's time to start talking back to that inner critic that tells you you are lazy, you are not enough. And maybe your next step is clicking the link and praying through whether or not this summer program is something that the Lord really is inviting you into.
Well, we are just about at the top of the hour, and we promised our tech helper today,
We did.
Howard, that we would end on time because we have to close out Instagram. So I do want to thank you so much. And thank you, Leanne, as well for your vulnerability. And so, ladies, we're hoping to see you this summer. We know it's going to be a transformational experience for you and for us as well. And so we just graciously want to thank you. We will be back tomorrow. What is tomorrow, Leanne?
Tomorrow, we are going to be. I don't see tomorrow.
Fear of rejection.
What's that?
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. Oh boy, that's a big one. That's a big one for me. I look forward to it. We also, before we close, would love for you to type into the chat. What is your takeaway from today? I see some of you have already done that because you've been here for a while. You like this 3-step process: pause, pivot, and plan. Please continue. Please share this if this has impacted you or you know somebody who would love to have this information. And go to leslievernick.com/people pleasing course to find out more about what we have in store for you this summer. We would love to have you join our coaching family.
See you tomorrow at noon. Bye-bye.